Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for a very special afternoon as we celebrate the 35th anniversary of the CF Mariners Care Golf Tournament. Now this year, while we're not able to gather together for a great day of golf, we're still excited to look back on this incredible event and all the success it's had because of people like all of you tuning in right now. I'm Rick Rizzs with the Seattle Mariners. The Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is a cause near and dear to my heart. I got involved 35 years ago. One of our former players, current player at the time, Matt Young, put together a golf tournament. I didn't even know what cystic fibrosis was at that time. We got it started, and our first event, we raised about $30,000. And along the way, we got a chance to meet so many special kids with CF and their families, and that's when I met a very special young lady by the name of Lissy Moore. Lissy passed away at the age of 15, way too soon. But I got a chance to get to know Lissy and her mom and dad, Chad and Risa, her brother Lad, her sister Mackenzie, and all the other kids that had cystic fibrosis at the time battling this genetic disease. I was all in with the golf tournament, with the gala, and everything that the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation wanted. And we are never going to forget Lissy and all the other kids with cystic fibrosis. Her legacy, her life, and her honor is going to live on forever. Now, since we got this started, the CF Mariners Golf Care Tournament has brought together a lot of Seattle Mariner players like Jay Buhner and Scott Bradley and Randy Johnson and Norm Charlton, Charlie Furbush, Ryan Rowland-Smith, and many others, coaches, staff, along with incredible supporters, donors, and members of the community to raise funds to change CF to Cure Found. We are going to find a cure for cystic fibrosis. I know that in my heart, and that is going to happen. And down through the years, believe this, we have raised over $6.3 million. I'm going to say it again. We've raised over $6.3 million to find a cure for CF. And today, we have a chance to contribute one more time. At this time, I want to introduce my co-host and fellow MC, Brad Adam of Root Sports, who does such a great job for us on our pre- and post-game shows. Brad, how you doing, buddy? What a special event we have for the fans right here.
Rick, this is awesome. I love hearing that number. And, of course, it goes up each and every year. Myself, like Rick, really involved in this tournament. And it's been about, I'd say, 15 years for me. And also, like Rick, I didn't really know what CF was until I got involved and started hearing stories about it, how a cure needs to be found and what the CF community in Seattle and what the Mariners are doing. And it's one of those days that I look forward to. My wife and I circle the day on the calendar, get the Mariners schedule, and we know it's going to be an off day in July, usually, and we look forward to that. She loves coming to the auction. I MC the dinner afterwards, and it's such a great event, and be surrounded by such inspiring people. You're going to hear from some stories of that today, and it's a great event, and I want to thank the Seattle Mariners for being involved, not just the CF community as well. You know, you think about a baseball season, and it's, roughly 6 months long, and there's about 22 off days during that time, and which means you've got about 10 or 11 at home. And to give up an off day, such a precious off day and such precious time, come out and donate time, donate money, donate resources, really says a lot, I think, about the players involved, past and present. It says a lot about the community and says a lot about the Seattle Mariners. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. It's a short program this afternoon. We're not on the golf course. I tell you, if you get a chance to come to the CF tournament, I highly recommend it. To see Rick in golf shorts is worth it. Trust me, all right? So, again, we're going to get together. We're going to have kind of a celebration and look and see what the CF community has done, how far we've gone, and still how far we need to go. It's a celebration. Look back at some memories. We're going to hear from some special guests, not one, not two, but three former lefties. We're going to hear some stories, some behind-the-scenes stories from years past, some memories of favorite CF golf tournament memories and stuff. And before we get to all that, and again, we'll finish before lunchtime. Trust me on that. I want to welcome this year's event chair, longtime supporter through both his personal contribution and the support of Newmark Knight Frank. Please say hello to our good friend, Mr. Jesse Otley. And Jesse, the word is that you won a match at your club at Broadmoor. Your golf game is peaking. You were ready for this tournament. You were a favorite this year if we were going to play.
I think, Brad, we did win the tournament last year, if I recall, but that might have been the only time we did win.
Nice.
But thanks, Brad, and hello, everyone. Thanks all that are watching and tuning in today, and everyone joining us here this afternoon. I've personally been involved, like Brad said, in this event for a long, long time, 15 plus years. I've been involved in the golf committee for 10 plus years. And as Rick indicated earlier, this is a special event near and dear to my heart as well. Over the years, we've hosted this tournament at some amazing venues. Broadmoor Golf Club. This year, though, we did have it at a special club, Seattle Golf Club, which is an exclusive club here just north of Seattle. Unfortunately, we're doing this virtually this year, but I know next year's going to be bigger and better in 2021. So we do want everyone to come out to the golf course and support this great cause. I do have a special announcement today for the virtual event. I'm happy to announce that we have a match, and that match is a $15,000 match from two special sponsors of this event, and they've been long-term sponsors. Chad Moore of Oresco and Larry Hood of Pacific Portfolio, longtime CF supporters, longtime supporters of the golf tournament, are going to be doing a $15,000 match for this event, and also that will run through August 24th. So give what you can. Do what you can. It will go to a great cause. And on behalf of the Mariners Cystic Fibrosis Mariners Care Golf Tournament, we want to thank everyone for being involved and appreciate your support. Back to you, Brad.
Another thing about the CF community is you see the same people each year. You see some new people at the events, and it's great kind of to catch up and the involvement year after year. We want to thank Oresco and Pacific Portfolio, of course, for kicking off that amazing match and amazing fundraising today. Let's keep it going, guys.
Hi, this is Larry Hood, Chairman and CEO of Pacific Portfolio. Welcome to the first annual virtual CF Mariner Care Golf Tournament. We've been proud participants of the live version since inception and are proud to say we've raised millions of dollars to help fund and find a cure for CF. I'd also like to salute the Mariners and thank them for their partnership over the years. From everyone from the organization to players past and present, we couldn't have done it without you guys. We look forward to continuing this great partnership until a cure is found. I'd like to recognize Dottie Moore and her team for putting on one of the best golf tournaments in the country year after year and having it go off without a hitch. So enjoy the virtual tournament this year, stay healthy and safe, and we'll see you on the links next year.
I'm Chad Moore, and this is my son, Lad Moore, and I want to thank you all for joining us for our 35th annual Cystic Fibrosis Mariner Golf Tournament, even though this one's going to be virtual. Thank you again for joining us. And Lad, can you say a few words?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just so grateful. In the last 35 years, raised over $6.5 million in the fight against CF. It means the world to families living with cystic fibrosis and the patients. The Mariners have been tremendous partners, and we couldn't have done it without them. We can't do it without you. So thank you for joining us virtually. We appreciate your support, and hope everyone has a wonderful tournament.
Shout out to Rick Rizzs. Thanks again for being here all those 35 years.
Thank you to Oresco and Pacific Portfolio. We also have a couple of other sponsors we want to thank this year for their support for our virtual event. And again, thank you to Newmark Knight Frank and also Bradley's Bees for their support of this virtual event. Well, the CF Mariners Golf Tournament isn't just about a great day of golf. It is a lot of fun. We have a great time with all of our friends. It's also an event rooted in the desire to raise money to once and for all find a cure for cystic fibrosis. Now, when I first got involved, it could be heartbreaking at times as the life expectancy for a child with CF was only about 10 or 11 years of age. Can you believe that? However, as a result of incredible research, scientific advancements, and drug development, because of money raised by the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, people with CF today are living into their 40s. How about that? While cystic fibrosis was once a childhood disease, today at least 50% of people living with CF are now adults. Truly remarkable progress. But right now, our goal is to find a cure for CF, and the kids born with CF have a full lifetime of joy and happiness. That's what this is all about. Now, right now, this is my favorite part. I'd like to welcome one of the most extraordinary people I've known and met down through the years. This young woman first came out to a golf tournament when she was 3 years old. Just 3 years old, and was so spunky and full of life, just like she is today at the age of 23. I'm so excited to welcome Annie Hall. Annie, how you doing, Art? It's great to see you.
Great to see you too, Rick. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Annie Hall. I'm 23 years old, and I've been living with cystic fibrosis for my whole life. I was diagnosed when I was 11 days old, which we're really grateful for because I was able to get on meds and to be able to start everything really soon and really quickly. I have struggled with my lungs and my sinuses my whole life, as most people know, and I've been hospitalized for my lungs 9 times, and I have had 25 sinus surgeries, which, if you're keeping track, is more than the years I've been alive. CF kind of caused me to miss out on things when I was younger, to take care of myself and to be healthier. I actually even did online high school for the last few years I was in school, just because being around people made me really sick, and it was able to keep me at least a little bit healthier. And now, the older I get, I kind of realized that in my early teen years, I was really struggling with anxiety and depression, mainly from the CF, of knowing, like you had said, that our life capacity was so much less when we were younger, and now it's so much greater, and we're so blessed by it. This has really taught me that, we get to live life appreciating every single day we have, and I spend my time not wasting a moment.
Annie, it's so great to have you here today to talk about your story. I'm so impressed with your spirit and your strength. Now, I know that there's a new drug called Trikafta, came out in October of 2019, and it has had a huge impact on everybody with cystic fibrosis. Can you share what your experience has been like with this new drug and how you're feeling now as a result of it?
Yeah, so I started the new drug back in January, which was really exciting. It was the first week of January I started, and I was pretty sick at the time, but thankfully it started working immediately, and I stopped coughing within 3 days of starting it. I went back about a month later, and my lung function was up to 101%, which is the highest it's been in years. And I'm so grateful for how quickly it kicked in. It makes me feel stronger and better overall. And obviously my lungs aren't hurting at all anymore, which was something that was causing issues every single day. I was immediately able to start gaining weight, which has always been an issue. And I've been a lot less tired and a lot easier to work out and everything like that, which I'm so grateful for. It's a miracle drug, like everyone really says. And I know that that's not the case for everyone, and it's really just on how well you are. But I'm really grateful that it's worked really hard and that everyone is put so much time and effort into it that now it's working and giving us back so much of our lives.
Annie, that is just fabulous news, and it is because of the ongoing commitment of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and the support of so many like you that drug became possible. That's great news. Now, Annie, I know obviously every day you have to be careful living with cystic fibrosis in normal circumstances to take care of your health and your lungs. Can you share what life has been like for you since COVID-19 and during this rough time for everybody?
Unfortunately, with this, it's a bigger and scarier challenge because it could do so much damage to me. So I've actually been used to wearing a mask pretty much my whole life. I've been wearing them at the hospital and any outdoor events I have been going to recently, like festivals. I always wear them. I always wear a mask when I travel. Those are just things that I've put into my life normally. So this kind of stuff, that's kind of normal for me. Unfortunately, the whole world is a bigger scale at this point. It's really difficult to not be able to go outside and to miss out on the things that I enjoy. I go to a lot of concerts, and I even work at a concert venue. So for the past 4 months to be stuck at home and not have access to the things like that make me happy, it's been hard. However, it's good to know that I'm taking precautions to take care of myself, and I hope everyone else is as well. I haven't even gone into a grocery store or to anything since the first week of March. So it feels a bit like life's been put on hold, but that's all right. I've been able to take this time to really take care of myself and to focus on what I need.
Well, Annie, I know one thing by staying at home. Are those wonderful paintings that you painted right behind you? They're beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Annie, I tell you what, you are such an inspiration and so strong for yourself and everybody. Thank you for sharing so honestly your story. What final message would you like to share with the community as you reflect back on the golf tournament and all the fun times that we've had down through the years, and especially the message for those who have cystic fibrosis like yourself?
I just want to say a big thank you. I'm so grateful for the Seattle Mariners and for the support of everyone, and for the CF Foundation, because they've made a tremendous change in all of our lives and given us so much. And I'm just so grateful for all the wonderful memories I have with you and with everyone in the Mariners. As you said, I've been doing this for about 20 years now with the golf tournament, which is amazing. And my entire life that I've been involved. I'm so grateful for just everything that we've had. I know that my story isn't the same as everyone else with CF. And I know that the new drug isn't helping everyone as much as it's helping me. But I know that makes us be aware that we have to keep working for a cure, because it's not just me, it's everyone. And I hope that this really helps everyone and be inspired to keep raising money for everyone, and that we keep doing this. So thank you so much, and thanks for everyone who's involved today.
I love you, sweetie. You take care of yourself.
Love you too. Take care.
You want an inspirational story, something to make you feel good, get you through these tough times. There it was from Annie. Thank you very much for that. And again, if you missed it, you can donate today using the link on your screen. And remember, all gifts will be matched up to $15,000 today. It's going to make a huge difference in the lives of those like Annie with cystic fibrosis.
This is going to be a great, fun part of the program. We're going to talk some baseball. Now it's time to bring in a very special group of Mariners former players and a trainer who have all played a very big part in the success of the CF Mariners Care Golf Tournament and Mariners baseball over the years. We're going to have some fun talking some baseball and sharing some great memories over the past 35 years from the golf tournament. And here they are. First of all, the man from down under. He was the first player to get to the big leagues with a hyphenated last name. He came up with the Mariners in 2007, made his major league debut on June the 22nd. We'll talk about that in a little while. He pitched for the Mariners from 2007 until 2010. In 2008, he had a heck of a year, 5-3 with a 3.42 ERA. Now he's a star on Root Sports on the pregame shows, the postgame shows. Ladies and gentlemen, the man from down under, Ryan Rowland-Smith. How you doing, kid?
Rick, good to see you, mate. It's been forever. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine, buddy. Thanks for joining us today.
Of course.
We also have another former Mariner, and he was with the Mariners from 2011 until 2015. And in 2012, he had a very good year, 5-2 with a 2.72 ERA in 42 games, pitched for 5 years in the big leagues, and was one of the hosts for the CF tournament for a number of seasons. The man with the wicked slider from South Portland, Maine, Charlie Furbush. How you doing, Charlie?
Great. Good to be here, Rick. Good to see you. Glad to be a part of this event.
Nice to have you here, buddy. Also, here's a guy that pitched in the big leagues for 13 seasons with the Oakland A's, the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Mariners, the Twins, the Expos. That's how long he's been around. The Montreal Expos, Tigers, Padres, pitched for 8 different ball clubs. And in 1995, when the Mariners had their miracle run, ended up tying California at the end of the regular season, he won 2 games that year. He was 2-1. And now he's also a star in Root Sports on the pregame shows, on the postgame shows, helps during the course of the telecast. Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of McMinnville, Oregon, the veteran left-hander, Bill Krueger. How you doing, Bill?
Great to be here, Rick, as always. And good to see you, Charlie and Ryan, and for a wonderful cause.
Great to see you, Bill. And last but not least, he spent a number of years in the minor leagues as a trainer and then got his break the same year I did in 1983, became the head trainer for the Mariners. He was there for 35 years as our trainer. He kept Junior on the field and Jay Buhner, and that was tough after all the injuries, and everybody else all those seasons from 1983 up until around 2017, and he still helps out with the Mariners organization. He was also a huge part of our Mariners Care Cystic Fibrosis Golf Tournament for many, many years. Longtime Mariners trainer, Rick Griffin. How you doing, Ricky?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here, and good to see all you guys.
Great to see you, too. So welcome, Ryan Rowland-Smith, Charlie Furbush, Bill Krueger, and Rick Griffin. Rick, I'm going to start with you. We also have Brad Adam with us, joining us as well here on the Roundtable. But, Ricky, I want to start with you because you've been a supporter of this event from the very beginning. Matt Young got it going back in 1986, 35 seasons ago. What do you remember about the early years of the tournament, talking about the players involved down through the years? What are your memories of the golf tournament since Matt Young started it many years ago?
Well, I could answer that question and go in a lot of different directions, but I think the most important thing for me and the reason I like to be involved is I remember the first time I went to one of these events, and after we played golf and we had a good time, everybody got in the room and we got to hear the testimonials of some of the stories of some of the individuals and children that are stricken with cystic fibrosis. And back then, the life expectancy age was around 20 to 22 years of age. And that was just shocking to me to think that, they could pass away at such a young age when they look so healthy. And that really struck me. And so I always wanted to try to do something or get different memorabilia so I could do everything I could to help these guys, make some money and be a part of this, because it's just an amazing thing to see how far it's come since then till now. Their life expectancies are way up and they're doing much better and they're getting closer to a cure. So for me, that was the most important thing. The second was the first 3 years we did this. I don't know how this happened, but I was lucky enough to be on the winning team each time. And I played golf with a guy named Jim Rutherford, who was a member at Broadmoor, and he picked me to play with him. And at that time, I was also in charge of getting a lot of the supplies and the gifts and the prizes. And I got a lot of stuff from Gatorade bags and balls and all kinds of things. Well, after the third year, I had too many Gatorade bags, golf bags, and different things. So I just started turning everything in, and I didn't take any more prizes. But it was fun the first 3 years because I was with a very good golfer that helped us win 3 times.
Well, you played a big role in the tournament from the early days, Ricky. Charlie, you were a tournament host from 2014 until 2016. How did you first get involved with the tournament and the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and what are your memories, buddy?
Well, I first got involved back in 2012 was the first time I actually played in the tournament, and we got to go out to TPC at Snoqualmie Ridge, which is just a beautiful course. And, not knowing much about the Seattle area, being from the Northeast, finally getting out here and getting traded over here was a big thing for me, but I always wanted to be involved in the community. And I realized that after playing in the tournament, it was an amazing cause that everyone was trying to find a cure for cystic fibrosis. And I had no idea really what it was and how it impacted so many young kids. And it really, kind of struck home with me that, these are kids that, don't live very long. And if we can get a cure for them to extend their life and do anything we can to help. And this fundraiser is just one part of many things that we do throughout the year to help get a cure. And I felt that once I played in the tournament and I saw how it was, and I was able to experience the experiences I had with all of you guys that have had similar experience I have had with the tournament, I just felt it was a no-brainer that I wanted to be involved. And I've continued to be involved from basically the first day I was involved. So I'm excited to continue to be a part of this team to hopefully find a cure here soon.
And we will. Ryan, I think that was the kind of same thing for you. You had a chance to play in the tournament. Then you became a tournament host in 2009 and 2010. And so what was that experience like for you?
Well, first of all, you mentioned I got a chance to play in it, and that definitely was my strong suit. I'm not a golfer, right? So when the Mariners said, "Hey, do you want to host it?" I'll be absolutely. But back in my mind, I'm thinking, have they ever seen me play golf? And then I'll be honest with you, it was just, one of the years I hosted it. I was cruising around on the golf cart, and I was basically shaking hands with all the different groups, and They said, "Oh, yeah, why don't you tee off and hit one for us?" I'm like, I'm looking at them like, okay, you guys look pretty serious. You guys are trying to win this thing. I'm not going to fuck this thing into the bushes and ruin your score. But, just like Charlie said, you really don't know as a player. I got asked to play in it before I hosted it. Not really understanding what cystic fibrosis really is and how it impacts kids, because it's something that it's not, on the front line when you think about it. And then you get to these tournaments and you get around, like Rick said, you hear some of these testimonies from these kids, and they're honest and they're very transparent with what they're dealing with. And you just have no choice but to say, this is something I want to be a part of. And the Mariners do such a good job with on the course, off the course. It's such a fun event, and it's something, I'm proud to be a part of.
And Bill, it's great to have you a part of it as well, Ryan, for years. Bill Krueger, you and your former teammates helped build this event from the early stages, along with Jay Buhner and Randy Johnson and many other guys, like Charlie there and Ryan Rowland-Smith. As the event has continued to grow, which it really has, we've raised over $6 million since 1986 with the tournament. You and your fellow Mariners alumni have helped make the tournament, bring it to all new heights. What's it like to have active players, coaches, broadcasters continue to team up every year for this very worthy cause, buddy?
Well, I think it's critical to keep the history in place, and a lot of guys have passed the torch, as you mentioned. Matt Young and Scott Bradley and Randy and Jay, and now you guys, Charlie and Ryan. That's real critical to having leadership inside the locker room. But to bring people back, it's really great for the people that show up that want to remember older Mariner players and have great stories to share each and every year. And it's been a great place for us as alumni, because we really haven't had a real strong alumni gathering, and this is the CF tournament really represents that for a lot of us, to catch up with each other. And I think it's always been good as a kind of a breath of fresh air during the season, where everybody steps away from their jobs, whether it's in the broadcast booth or playing, and we can have some fun and laugh and not worry about having to make it to the park to get ready for BP or any of the other television or radio obligations we have. And I think it also speaks, having worked in the nonprofit space since I retired, in the Seattle community is one of the best. And I think that the Mariners have branded themselves well, choosing a great cause and being very true to it, and seeing the progress, the money, but also the progress when we're seeing these children live longer lives and have such optimism for the future. So it's just a tremendous tournament. It's been fun to be around it for so long.
Well said, buddy. Brad?
Yeah, Rick, it's great to see and hear you guys. Normally, of course, we'll be on the golf course. Hopefully we can do that next year. But just virtually, again, just to be around you guys and talk about this great cause that you all are so involved with is really fun. I know for Rick and myself and the CF community. We're going to talk more about the tournament and golf in a second. But let's switch to baseball right now while I've got these baseball players. Anybody else think it's kind of interesting that we've got 3 left-handed pitchers that we're talking to today? 3? And I want to talk to Rick Griffin about that. And Rick, first, are you a lefty? So are all 4 lefties?
No, I'm a righty.
Okay, good. So I can talk to you first. All right, well, righties will stick together. Hey, obviously unprecedented times, and baseball is trying to start back with summer camp, eyeing a end of July start. From a training standpoint, a training staff standpoint, what's different that the groups are doing and the routines are different, the players are doing differently during COVID-19, just trying to keep everybody healthy and safe?
Well, it's a monumental task. It's very difficult. All these guys played, and they know what goes on in the training room. There's a lot of guys come in and get treatments. It just to do that job in itself is very, very difficult. But now to add on this other kind of adventure, taking care of the COVID and the communication and the testing, these guys should all be given a gold medal, because they're doing, above and beyond everything they possibly can to keep these guys safe, keep their families safe, helping out with the testing and the communication. They have to be, when they wake up, they have a survey. When they come to the ballpark, they get their temperature, then they get another test done. So it's a lot of testing to make sure that everybody's going to stay healthy. And they have protocols in place that if something does happen or someone does turn positive, they have specific protocols to follow. So there was basically a 107-page manual that was developed through the physicians and athletic trainers. We had conference calls every week for about 7 weeks, and we went all over the place to try to get the best possible manual for everybody to follow. And some of the other pro sports have actually taken some of our ideas and put it into their manuals. But it's a monumental task, and it's difficult. And then the way they have to group the players for practice makes for long days. It's a very, very, very demanding situation for these guys to be in right now.
Well, and we thank all the trainers and the support and what they're trying to do and keep everybody safe, and hope he continues and they're able to finish off this season well. Let's turn to our pitchers now. Let's start with Bill Krueger. Guy's been with me all 20 years at Root Sports with me. That's fantastic. Sitting next to me, guiding me, helping me out on the pre and post game shows. Bill, go back to when you were playing and pitching. If this happened when you were playing and you had a couple of months to try to stay in shape on your own, do the best you can, what was some of the things that you would try to do to prepare yourself? And then what are you kind of looking forward to in the 60-game sprint?
Well, first of all, 20 years and you look the same and I look haggard. So whatever you got going on over there, it's some magic elixir or something. But I think it presents a challenge. I think you have to determine in your mind that you have to invest every day to be ready. And, you need to follow that schedule and be religious to it. You can't get trapped in some of the other noise that was going on. It was legit noise, but there was a lot of noise, whether it's around COVID, around labor management negotiations. You have to sort of stay, in that tunnel and keep whatever conditioning you have. It's also an opportunity to maybe add to your conditioning. And certainly have to get some kind of throwing regimen so that, when you get there, you can hit the ground running. I always felt like that was something that played to my strong suit because I always stayed in shape as much as I could year round to be ready for those opportunities. And then the sprint's going to be different. I think it's much harder to handicap. 60 games, you go back a couple years, Mariners were 38-22 through 60. That'd be a pretty good number right now. That put them right in the playoff picture, I would say. So a lot of things can happen. Depth's going to matter because there's a chance, we've already seen it, that a player, even a key player, may have to sit out because of testing positive. So a lot of things are going to be different. Not just the rules, but the landscape is going to change every day with players. And we'll also be able to see who's been paying attention and who's getting ready and who isn't, because this isn't one of those things where you can go out and say, I'm kind of a slow starter. It takes me a while to find my stroke or really get behind the baseball. And before you know it, the season's half over. So I think it's going to be a much different thing. It'll be fun for the fans, I believe, because it's not the marathon that we've been sold and really built our careers around. It's going to be much, much different. Really exciting every day.
Yeah, and the fans will be able to watch all Mariners games on Root Sports, which will be fun for us as well. Get back to work and back to showing these guys play. And Ryan Rowland-Smith, we had the pleasure of showing you play for several years, and now you're trying to help grow the game, not only in the U.S. but also your native Australia. You're working with a lot of these kids. What are you telling them, trying to keep them in shape? How have they adjusted? How have you adjusted to this very difficult isolation time?
Yeah, it's been tough, and just speaking, from the players' standpoint, you had Braden Bishop. I've been hosting a podcast, had Braden Bishop on a couple of days ago. He's a fourth outfielder, so he's looking at this saying, well, how do I fit into this 60-game season, and what have I done in the last couple of months? Because some of these guys, bought the bone out off Amazon and they're stuck in the backyard because they're just in spots where you just don't have the resources to go out and put something together when you're talking weeks before spring training. And you asked me from, a youth standpoint, if you look at this and say, if I run with that river of circumstances and say, COVID-19, I'm supposed to be isolated, so I'm just going to sit in and I'll just wait this out, then you're going to be behind the eight ball because there's those kids when you're talking from a youth standpoint, even on the major league standpoint, that they're using this, they look at this glass half full and say, I've got these extra months to tweak that little thing that I was trying to get over in spring training, that third, fourth week in spring training when it's, coming close to, big decisions to get made. All of a sudden now you've got that extra month or two to try and work that out or get in shape or, get over that little injury, that niggling injury you had. So I think if you do wake up every morning, is easier said than done. I know we're all been dealing with this isolation, but have that mindset of saying, okay, I've got these months on my own to make changes, to start evolving as a player. I think you're going to come out of this. And again, like Bill said, I mean, 60 games. I was a slow starter. I'm not going to lie. 3 weeks of spring training. Spring training's cut in half. You got to deal with all the distractions, like Rick Griffin was talking about off the field, and then boom, you're rolling into August. You better be strapped. You better have it strapped on, ready to roll, because it's going to be an interesting season. That's for sure.
Well, we know COVID has affected all of our lives, not just sports, work-related as well, personal life as well. And Charlie, turn to you, and obviously you had a very big event scheduled for this summer, which no longer taking place. Can you give us an update on the big day, and more importantly, the big party afterwards?
Yeah, that is one unfortunate thing. This, July 11th was supposed to be our wedding day, and had to postpone due to COVID, and it was really, really tough to even swallow that. Months prior, there's a real sense of excitement about what we were dealing with, and being able to share this moment with a bunch of people. And it really just kind of put us back to square one, which was a little tough. But ultimately, we have shifted to next year. So next summer, we'll be able to do the exact same thing and have a great time. And hopefully everything is back to normal by then. But, it really is ultimately another healthy reminder just about what we're dealing with and what COVID is causing us to be more careful about. And it kind of ties back into what we're talking about with cystic fibrosis, because a lot of these kids have been dealing with respiratory issues their whole lives, so they've had to be ultra careful about what they're doing. And it kind of just makes me, feel for them even more, kind of knowing that we're dealing with similar things now, and how careful we all have to be to keep everyone safe and healthy. So,
absolutely, Charlie, your big day is coming up. Tell you what, let's go to Rowland-Smith right now. Everybody has their major league debut when they finally get to the big leagues. And I tell you what, Ryan, you had a very special debut. June 22nd of 2007, the Mariners are getting beat by the Cincinnati Reds. I think we ended up losing that ball game like 16-1. And there's a very nervous left-hander down in the bullpen getting ready. Rowland-Smith comes into the ball game. And the first guy that you face in the big leagues is Ken Griffey Jr., now a Cincinnati Red. Can you tell us what you were thinking when you came out of the bullpen, and what do you remember about that major league debut, Ryan?
I just didn't want to walk him, Rick. If I walk him, I got 45,000 people just hating me the rest of their lives, regardless of how long my career would be. But it's funny, and Bill and Charlie can back me up on this. When you're a kid, you think, I'm going to play in the big leagues, and that first time you walk on the field, it's going to be monumental. You're going to come in, close a game out, or whatever it is. But it's never the case. I mean, 95% of debuts happen in September, or when you're getting blown out. I think we're getting blown out. We weren't just getting beat, Rick. I mean, we were getting crushed. So I knew it's like, oh man, it's coming today. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Slayton was the bullpen coach, and he was great. He goes, "You're going to pitch tonight for sure." He goes, "You're going to face one of these lefties," And I said to myself, "Oh, okay, all right, it's going to happen tonight. There's 3 lefties in the line. All of them are all-stars, including Griffey." I'm like, I don't care who it is, just not him. First time out, no way. I'm not ready for this. I'm 24-year-old punk from Australia, no chance. I don't belong here. And syndrome just oozing out of me. And then sure enough, he's like, "Yep, you got Junior." I was like, "You got to be kidding this." An icon, a childhood hero 60 feet away, and worked out, though. I somehow snuck ahead in the count, threw a breaking ball, struck him out, and I felt pretty good about myself, that's for sure.
Yeah, you did. You struck him out on a 1-2 pitch. That was your major league debut. Later on that inning, you also struck out Josh Hamilton. So you struck out a future Hall of Famer. You struck out a really good ball player in Josh Hamilton. A few days later, you're facing the Boston Red Sox, and you struck out the side. In relief, you struck out David Ortiz, and also Michael, I think Manny Ramirez as well. So that was a heck of a debut, buddy.
You got to remember that when you've got Griffey, out in the book or whatever you want to call it, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. All these other guys you mentioned, you don't even realize who they are. You know what I mean? That's how crazy that was. I was just anchoring on the fact that I struck out my childhood hero, so it worked out pretty good. That's for sure.
That was amazing, buddy. Charlie, you were a part of one of the most memorable games in the history of the franchise. 6 pitchers. You were one of 6 pitchers to throw a no-hitter at home against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Kevin Millwood started that ball game with 6 innings and had to come out of the game. 5 other pitchers got the final 9 outs in that game, in the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. You were one of those 5 pitchers, one of 6 for the combined no-hitter. What do you remember about that ball game?
That was a crazy game. I think anyone that is a part or have seen a no-hitter, there's always odd things that happen. And, luckily for me, on my major league debut, I was forced into the game. The pitcher twisted his ankle on the field, and here's my debut, kid. I got to come in with first and second, 1 out, and clean up the mess. So I had this little, sort of an experience in the prior. So when Kevin Millwood came out in the 7th and pulled his groin and didn't really make any sort of move that he was hurt, he just walked off, and I thought he ripped his belt or something happened with his equipment. It was no big deal, but turns out he pulled his groin, and I know Rick was there to attest how much pain he was probably in from that groin pull. But the phone rang. At that point, we know a no-hitter's going on. We know it's a 0-0 ball game, Friday night against the Dodgers. So at this point, when the phone rang, I was just like, okay, I hope it's not me. I really, at the time, it's kind of tough to walk into a 0-0 ball game and, it's a no-hitter going on. So, yeah, it was a little bit tough, but I knew that if I, got the call that I'd be okay because I had a little bit of experience in the past, doing this. And when I got into the game, it's kind of one of those weird situations, whether you want to warm up quick or you want to take your time and you don't want the whole team on, to be able to see what you're throwing and see how your pitches get better from the side. So I tried to just get through it as quick as I could. And the one thing that I really actually remember, when you look at the box score of the game, there's a 1 on the air for the Mariners. And oddly enough, when I bring back up what weird things happen in no-hitters, the first or second guy I faced, it was a swing and bunt, which actually happened to be D. Gordon, I think. And I launched it into the right field to keep the no-hitter intact. So I feel that I did my part to keep the no-hitter alive. And then obviously the rest of the guys in the pen came behind me and got the job done. But, what a wild game to Friday night against the Dodgers, big crowd, 0-0 ball game when I come in, and we close the ball out and get a no-hitter. And it was just a great moment in my career, the moment that I shared inside with Kevin Millwood, who did most of the work. So it was just one of those things that hopefully one day I'll make it to Cooperstown to see some of the stuff that's in there. So, yeah, it was a great memory for me.
Now, that was a lot of fun. After Kevin, you, Lucas Litke, Brandon League, Stephen Pryor, then Tom Wilhelmsen gets the final out of the game, and he didn't even know it was a no-hitter. He was so focused.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, he was just in his own zone, and if you actually watch the replay, Jesus Montero was catching, and, for a catcher to be able to go through 6 pitchers and call all the right pitches and sequence it all right is pretty rare to do. So when he actually came out and jumped to celebrate that this had happened, Tom's arms were like stuck. Like, why are you jumping on me?
What are you doing?
Yeah, so it was great.
It was something. 6 pitchers, a combined no-hitter. Bill, you're the sage veteran of this group here, 13 years of the big leagues. Looking at the pitching staff on this ball club here in 2020, you got some really good young pitchers. Justice Sheffield, we saw him come up last year after he made his major league debut with the Yankees in relief a few years ago. Justin Dunn is going to get an incredible opportunity. A lot of tremendous young arms will make their major league debuts sometime this year or next year. You were one of those kids back in the early 1980s when you came up with the Oakland A's. What advice would you give Justice Sheffield, Justin Dunn, and all those young pitchers getting ready for the season this year?
Well, I think the youth is to your advantage. You've got energy, you've got so much arm strength at this point. You're still a relatively unknown quantity when you start looking at yourself as the league looks at you. So they haven't really picked up a lot on you yet. So you're still working with a bit of an advantage. And so I think the important thing is to always pitch to your strengths, and that's going to serve you well as the league doesn't know you very, very well. And then I think you just have to get into some smart routines. Look at the veteran pitchers, see how they're going about their business between starts, and pay attention to hitter profile and learn how to dissect hitters and try to use that time between starts to not only physically get yourself better, but to mentally get yourself better. And I really think at the end of the day, as we all reflect back on our careers, that when we've lost confidence or have had some struggles, we tend to reach and grasp. And I think sometimes it's maybe take a look at a time when you're pitching well, and use that as the cement to go out and attack the next day. That would be my biggest recommendation, is that you got there, you got the talent. You can't let one bad ball game, throw you off kilter. And you just have such a tremendous opportunity to take advantage of every day you're in the big leagues to learn to get stronger mentally and physically, and then apply that to the game. And you need to grow with the game. You got to be smart. The guys that last the longest are the ones that adjust, and they not only adjust their skill set, they're adjusting by watching hitters and getting to know them better. Because the report you get down from on high, that's one thing. It is your report. It is your approach to that hitter. That's the one that matters.
That's great advice for these kids. I can't wait to watch them this year grow and learn and do what you just talked about, getting that major league experience and moving on from there. Rick Griffin, you and I, we had an incredible thrill last July in Cooperstown, New York. You and I, your wife Rachel, we shared a beautiful little farmhouse in Cooperstown, New York, to watch the induction of Edgar Martinez into the Hall of Fame. After the party on Saturday night, the day before Edgar was inducted on Sunday, a lot of the guys came over to our house. We went down in the basement. We got this pool table and poker table and fully stocked bar. We had Junior there and his wife, Jay Buhner's wife, Dan Wilson, Jamie Moyer, Mike Cameron, you and Rachel and Randy Anamek and everybody. We had so much fun. That was one of the greatest nights of my baseball career. What was it like, number one, to see Edgar go into the Hall of Fame last year, which he truly deserved? Why it took so long, I don't know, but it did. He deserved to be in there from the time he retired in 2004. And what do you remember about that special night at our house?
Well, like you said, that was just to be around those guys and to be able to experience that and be a part of that. Going back just a little bit, when we went back to Ken Griffey Jr.'s induction ceremony, I had the pleasure of sitting next to Edgar during the entire ceremony, and I told him, I said, Edgar, you're going to be in here one day. You're going to make it. And he goes, oh, I'm trying. I don't know why I'm not in. And the fact that he got in his last year of eligibility and the joy and excitement of his teammates and his family and his friends, I think it was just so much more overwhelming. I mean, everybody knew Junior was going to go, and that was expected. But Edgar was so humble and so gracious in the things that he said and the people that he thanked. And you could just see how much care was in his heart to go out and talk to all of the friends. And that night at that party, I mean, we stayed up till 4 o'clock. We had a great time. We pretty much wiped out all the alcohol and played every game there was. And we had a lot of fun. And hopefully we can do that again. That was probably, like you said, one of the funner times I've ever had in baseball. It was a great time.
Incredible night. Bradley?
I want to hear more about the party. Till 4 a.m.?
Yeah, we were out a little late.
Jay Buhner went, we're going to stay up to 4 o'clock in the morning, and Leah went, no, we're not.
I can't remember last time I stayed up till 4, but maybe for another time, Rick. But let's kind of get back to the CF, the foundation, the golf tournament, which you guys are a huge part of. And Rick, I'm going to start with you. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to MC the dinner afterwards. And you get through thanking everybody, and you get to the live auction. It's a lot of fun. You go through the program. And then we kind of stop and pause because we've got a special entry that sometimes in the program, sometimes is not, the Rick Griffin mystery gift. And that has raised thousands and thousands of dollars for CF Research over the years. And it usually involves wine. It's usually pretty impressive. Can you think back and tell us some of your favorite gift packages, some surprises that you brought to the auction?
The thing that's really funny about this and how it even came about is the very first auction that we had, I was sitting next to Jim Beattie at the dinner, and we were having a few beers, and I remember we were both drinking a Coors Light, and they were auctioning things off. And Jim Beattie just jokingly said, you know what, I'm going to sign a beer can. Let's see if we can sell my beer can that I just drank and sign. And so he signed his beer can, and I walked up and I gave it to the auctioneer at the front, and it sold for $150. And I went, wow, that's pretty good. So then I just decided that every year I'm going to try to donate something to raise as much money as I possibly can. And I think there's 2 or 3 really good things that we did, but the one that raised the most money, I think one year we got $10,000 for an item. A couple of the real good ones is Jay Buhner and I donated a fishing trip to come over here to Montana for 3 days. We wine, dine, take care of him, take him fishing. That was great. The year that Junior came back, the first night he hit a home run, which was memorable. And Bob Christofferson, the groundskeeper, I went and asked for a big favor, and I explained it was for cystic fibrosis. And I was always every year trying to think of something that would generate the most money. So he gave me first base, and I had Griffey sign the base, and that was his 400th career home run as a Seattle Mariner. He was traded when he had 399, so that was his 400th home run. And so he wrote 400th career home run, Seattle Mariner, and that went for quite a bit of money. Another fun thing that we had was the poster from the 2001 Seattle Mariner baseball team. I had every single player that was on that poster sign that. I remember that went for $7,500. So I always just try to find something unique, something different. Sometimes it involved other teammates from other teams. But I've had a lot of great support from the people that I've always asked to help out, and they always, step up and donate, great items. So it's been a lot of fun, and look forward to continue to do that. And unfortunately, I'll have to save what I had this year for next year.
It'll work for next year. Maybe you get another one. You could maybe go 2 next year, Rick. That would be awesome.
Can do that. That's not hard to do.
I like that. We certainly appreciate all you do, and it's a lot of fun to see the items and do the auction and the dinner at night. It's also fun to play golf during the day. And Ryan mentioned, or Charlie mentioned, we get to go to these great courses around the Seattle area and get to see some of these guys, great athletes, great ball players, some of them okay golfers, some maybe not so great. But let's talk about some golf memories, and we'll start with Bill Krueger, who I think we've been teamed up before. I mean, the dream team, they have to separate us because, we do so well on the course. And besides playing with me in the dream team, what other kind of memories do you have from playing golf throughout the years in this tournament?
Well, I'm just scratching my head a little bit. I just remember, the times we never were able to get this thing in the summer. The gloom seems to drag on in Seattle. It's because some people love it. The cool air, not the oppressive humidity you have back east. And boy, I remember some shivering starts, showing up in shorts up at Newcastle and just having sort of this teeth chattering start. But we've kind of adjusted that now and moved it a little later in the dance card, Sean Gridley and some of his abilities to find another course to be able to go to a Broadmoor. That was pretty fantastic, pretty exclusive place to play. I mean, I've seen pretty much everything as you have, Brad. I mean, I go back to Bear Creek when I was first involved back in 91. So I think that sticks in my mind. I think, to kind of see, some of our athletic guys that can really hit the ball out of sight, and some of these places where we've seen long drives land. I mean, we've had some guys, Val can hit it a long ways, and Jay. Those are always kind of fun to see where these guys can actually hit the golf ball. So the athletes they tend to transition well to golf. It doesn't mean they get it in the hole. But we've had some guys with prodigious power. The late Dave Henderson could hit it, especially if you chided Dave a little bit. If you could just get him, whatever, Dave, you're not that good. Anything like that to get him going. He was fantastic at really he could really lift the game at a moment's notice. So I think that's what sticks in my mind other than just the general camaraderie and, the chance to meet new people. I've had a chance to meet some really, really great people out on the golf course. So just a lot of great memories.
Yeah, we get to hand out prizes as well, the closest to the pin, longest drive, most accurate drive. It's a good day out there. And what I like is a kind of a new award that we named. I don't think it's after Ryan Rowland-Smith, but I think he wins it every year. It's the most wild drive, like farthest off the course. So, congrats to you, buddy. And it's the game.
Hey, I think Raul, man, you might have to check your notes because Raul was. I think he's further right or left than Ryan, really, truly.
Hey, Ryan, getting better?
How's the game going? It's non-existent, man. I just avoid it. I just avoid golf courses as much as I can. You kidding me, aren't you? And that's, like I said earlier, when I was asked to host the tournament, I was like, love to. But then I'm like dreading the day that I'm going to be on, showcasing my golf skills. It's terrible. And then I get asked to cruise around the golf cart and hit tee off for people. I'm like, please don't do that to them and to me. last couple of years, and Sean Grinley, who works for the Seattle Mariners, who works so hard to recruit players and to get everything situated from the Mariners standpoint. I said, hey, Sean, just give me a fun group, man. Just give me a group, not serious, seek them out for me. And last couple of years, I'm not going to mention any names, but I've got my group signed off for the next 5 years, and we just have a blast, man. It's just slicing the ball left, right, whatever, and just having a good time. But yeah, and like Bill said, just meeting people is a fun thing. I'm a people person. I love meeting new people, and everyone's there for a really good cause. A lot of fun.
And a guy who does not get cheated on any swing is our good friend Charlie. And Charlie, I know that you reach down and get all you can every swing. I think you've won the long drive before. Tell us a little bit about that and kind of your memories from the tournament.
Yeah, I'm actually, I don't know. I don't know if I've actually won the long drive. I think, I try too hard is what it is. I guess I'm my own worst enemy, right? But yeah, I've had an incredible time at the course, and one of my favorite memories was actually meeting one of our cystic fibrosis patients, Evan Wara, and he's a little lefty. When I met him when he was probably 12, and same thing, he asked, instead of Ryan coming to take the shot, I asked Evan to come hit the shot, and every year, I think for the last 4 or 5 years that he shows up, I try to meet up with him on the course and let him hit a few putts or hit a couple shots, and I think he's now going on 18 into college or something. And yeah, this is really, I remember that connection that I had, and that really kind of invigorated why I'm involved in the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation here with the Seattle Mariners. It's just great thing to have. And I just thankful that I was able to be a part of this and see somebody that has continued to benefit from our work as a foundation to find a cure and extend their lives. So it's been a great memory.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments too, Charlie. It's been great to be involved and to be part of the CF community and see what the players do, see what the Mariners do, and see what the Cystic Fibrosis Foundations do for all these kids. It's great work, and we've made a lot of progress, but not done yet. So, Charlie and Ryan, Bill, Rick, thank you very much for joining us today, raising awareness for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and also making this year's virtual event such a tremendous success. We appreciate it, guys. Thank you as always.
You're welcome.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Enjoy seeing y'all.
Oh, and by the way, Brad, I want to let you know that every tournament, every year, I won the Short Driver Award. That's a bad joke. But anyway, Shortest Driver Award. Anyway, we always had a great time at the tournament. It was always a lot of fun. What a great afternoon today. Thanks again to each of you for being a part of our panel today. We want to thank all our sponsors. You can see them right there on our screen. And of course, thank you, Brad, for being my co-host today. It was a blast. It was almost as good as being out on the course together. So thank you, Brad.
Almost. You bet, Rick. Anytime, my friend.
Like I said earlier, this cause is one that has been near and dear to my heart for decades. And I truly believe we're going to finish this thing and find a cure for cystic fibrosis. I want to thank the Mariners organization for their ongoing support of this event and what they mean to CF, and for helping to organize this afternoon's panel of speakers. And just like Annie Hall said earlier, this fight isn't over yet, folks. We have come so far in research and progress, and now we have an important opportunity to donate and hit a grand slam in curing CF once and for all. I invite any of you who can give to do so right now using the link on your screen. It's right there, and help change CF to stand for Cure Found. We're going to do that. We're going to find a cure for cystic fibrosis. There's no doubt in my mind, thanks to all of our help. It's amazing how far we've come over the last 35 years. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today. And until we can be together again, take care and go Mariners. Thank you, everybody.
I've had the privilege of attending multiple CF Mariners Care golf tournaments throughout my life. The first time I went was when I was 7. Though I might not remember that one too well, the ones I have been to more recently have been events that I've looked forward to all year long. The Mariners mean so much to me and my family. I even got to throw out the first pitch when I was 9. They've been such a big part in our fight against CF with things like fundraising events and donations. I believe we're just that much closer to finding a cure for CF because of the huge contributions they made to help research and to help the community. Thank you so much again to the Mariners. We wouldn't be where we are without you. You guys are awesome.
Hi, my name is Evan Wara. I'm 18 years old, and I've been going to the Mariners golf tournament for as long as I can remember. It's always been my favorite event to be a part of, because I get to see all the people that I've looked up to for like ever. Players and coaches, I've got to become even close with some of the players, like Charlie Furbush. He made a video for my all-star baseball team when we were like 12. That was so cool. My team loved it. We lost the game, but that's all right. So thank you guys for always supporting us. We've made so much progress since I was diagnosed. So thank you guys so much.
Hi everyone, I just want to say thank you so much for all the work that you're putting into with the Mariners golf auction. I do wish that we could be there in person this year, but I do have so many fond memories. My family and I have been going for so many years, and we had Jay Buhner record a voicemail back when we actually had voicemail. We have tons of signed jerseys and, just so many positive memories over the years. So I just want to say thank you again, and go Mariners.
Hi, we're the Carters. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Todd. And this is
Griffin, and this is Moose.
And I volunteered at the Mariners Care Golf Tournament last year with the CF Foundation, and I had a great time. My dad and I came out and volunteered on the golf course at the closest to the pin hole, and we had a great time together. And to us, Mariners mean family. We both have grown up going to the Mariners games since we were little in the Kingdom, and we took Grayson when he was first 8 weeks old to a game at Safeco Field, and we love the Mariners and everything the organization does. So we just wanted to say thank you for all of your fundraising efforts for the CF Foundation.
Thank you, Mariners.
Bye!
We're Carl and Lisa Wara. We've been involved with the CF Mariners Care Golf Tournament for the last 16 years. And because our son, Evan, has cystic fibrosis.
We just want to thank everybody who has participated all of the years, and especially to the Mariner players, coaches, and staff who come out every year to support the cause. It's amazing to see all of the money that's raised through this tournament, and we hope to see everybody actually out on the golf course next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Mariners, my name is Colin Fanon, and my dad went to the Mariners golf tournament years before I was even born. But ever since, my family and I have been going to the golf tournament in honor of him, support of you guys, and most importantly, trying to find a cure for cystic fibrosis, so thank you.